Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Today I want to discuss a topic that is very important as it relates to when you know that you have impressed the subconscious mind with your manifestation and when you know it will be coming. And there's a very simple exercise to this that you can do, because when your inner talking, when your inner dialogue is lined up with your imagination, then you will know that your manifestation is coming. And this is a very simple technique that you can do. But before we go into this technique, I want to explain a little bit about the world that you're living in, the hologram that you're living in, because this is a very important topic to understand. That way, when you start applying this technique and you start seeing your inner talking and your assumptions start to match up with your wish fulfilled, then you will start to understand how and why everything is the way that it is in your world. So the first thing to understand about your world is it is not a solid reality. It is not a real reality at all. It's a high-tech simulated game, like a virtual reality that you're living in. And you actually created this yourself, and then you erased your memory of it when you entered it. So right now, I want you to imagine that you are actually wearing a set of VR goggles. You are actually in a virtual reality right now. You just don't remember that you actually put those goggles on. So your real self right now has a pair of virtual reality goggles on, and you are inside of a world that is not real. Okay, so you're living in a virtual reality right now. And this virtual reality that you're living in is actually created by your inner talking and your assumptions as you're observing things. So you can actually change your world with your inner talking, but you must take control of your assumptions and of your inner talking in order to change the world that you're living in. So you're actually creating the world and all the events that are taking place in your life right now. You are the God of your world, and it's all being created by your inner talking, your inner dialogue, what you're falling asleep with. The person that you are is being projected outwardly and creating this simulation that you're living in. So if your world right now isn't the way, it's not matching up with the things that you want, it's because of your inner talking. It's because of your inner dialogue. And then that is what creates your concept of yourself that Neville Goddard goes over so much. But this is the reason why your world is the way that it is. But the magic about this is that you have the privilege of changing this at any time by observing your thoughts, by falling asleep with a new version of yourself, or doing affirmations or scripting and creating a new version of yourself. And when you create a new version of yourself, your inner talking changes. And when your inner talking changes, then you're observing a different world from your internal world. Your internal world is now projecting a different world outside based on your inner talking. So the magic of this is, and the thing that we have to overcome, is to change our inner talking. Changing your inner talking creates a different world. And then you have the infinite parallel realities that you transfer to different worlds, because the way the hologram, the world, the simulation that you're living in right now is created is infinite. There's an infinite amount of parallel worlds that mirror your inner talking. So when you change your inner talking, you change your conception of self, you're instantly transferring to different worlds as you go. And there's an infinite amount of different worlds that correspond with your inner talking. So at any time, you can transfer to different worlds. And when you start believing this, believing that you're living in a virtual reality and your inner talking is what's creating this, that's when you really start making big changes in your life. That's when you really start applying the law of assumption. And the second thing you need to understand about the hologram that you're living in is that when you fall asleep, when you go into unconsciousness within the virtual reality, you are connected to all the infinite realities. It's like the entire bit of consciousness, the entire hologram of all the different infinite parallel realities are all connected. So when you fall asleep with a new version of yourself, that's when you impress the subconscious mind with a new version of yourself, and that's when you transfer. So you wake up in a different parallel reality depending on the version of yourself that you fall asleep with. And that's why Neville Goddard goes over so much about falling asleep, mentally rehearsing, visualizing as you're falling asleep, affirming as you're falling asleep that you now have the things that you want, because what that does is it changes your inner dialogue. It changes your inner talking to line up with the things that you want in your life in the hologram. And the hologram is self-sustainable this way based on your inner talking. So it's being created by you, and you're the God within your world transferring to all these worlds that correspond to your inner talking, to your inner dialogue, to your present concept of self. And that is all based on your assumptions. So the law of assumption is all this, all of your inner talking, all of your inner dialogue is being projected outwardly, and you're transferring to different worlds. So as you're projecting, it's flickering through different worlds. So you can instantly change these things and transfer to different worlds where you have everything that you want, depending on what you're feeling that you have right now. So it's all based on this feeling with your assumptions and your inner talking. Because if your inner talking changes, your feelings change, your mood changes. So what you're projecting outwardly has to change with that. And that's the magic of the world that you're living in, that you actually created. And another very important thing to understand is you created this world that you're living in for the appeasement of loneliness. You were lonely as one being, and you wanted to create a simulation that felt real to you. So you designed it this way to be happy and for the appeasement of loneliness, and to not take it so seriously. Because if you're taking your world serious, then it becomes serious. Then you're stuck in this world with this mood that everything is so serious, and it's so hard to do this, and it's so hard to do that. But you designed it this way, and we're cracking the codes now. And just changing your moods, changing your inner dialogue, changing your assumptions, changing your current concept of self can transfer into a different world the way that you designed it. So now you are being led to the information to now live the life of your dreams. Now you can live the life that you want to live simply by changing your current concept of self and changing your inner dialogue and falling asleep with a new version of yourself and transferring to the world that you want to live in. You don't have to suffer. You don't have to hurt. You don't have to be in pain. All of these things can vanish simply by changing your concept of yourself, changing your inner dialogue, and changing your perception of the things that happen to you in your world. Because if something, say, for instance, is something bad that you think is happening to you in your world, like your perception of it is bad, you're creating more of that. Okay, so you want to, when you perceive things, even if they appear to be bad things, you have to look at them as if you're going to grow from this. This is happening to me. That way I can be the person that I need to be. And a lot of times this will happen when you're trying to change your concept of yourself. When you're changing versions of yourself, sometimes you have to go through certain things in order to change your inner talking. So you may have something that appears to be bad that happens to you, but really this is happening because you have impressed the subconscious mind with a greater version of yourself. And in order for your current concept of self to get to that level, you're going to have to go through this. You're going to have to conquer this. You're going to have to get through this in order to change your concept of self. Your inner dialogue, your inner talking has to change. And sometimes things will happen in order for that to happen, for you to transfer into this new version of yourself, to habitually change your inner talking, to do these things and to grow into the person you need to be in order to have everything that you want. Sometimes you have to go through obstacles, learn how to manage difficulties, and things like this have to happen to you in order to get to that new version of yourself. So even if something appears to be bad that is happening to you in your world, do not react to that and have that perception that it's bad. Change your perception to this is happening, that way I can get to this. This is happening, that way I can have this relationship, or I can have this amount of money. That way I am the person that can sustain this relationship, that can sustain this amount of wealth. And when you start making these subtle changes within your new concept of self and your inner talking, all of it changes. Your inner talking starts changing, your inner dialogue starts changing, your concept of self, your assumptions, and then you start projecting a new world. And this world is going to be the world that you want to be in. Because if you are impressing the subconscious mind with having all kinds of new things, and you're landing it, and these things are happening to you, these are the things that have to happen to you in order to get to that result that you're getting to be the person that you need to be in order to have that brand new Maserati, or have that beautiful house, or be in that wonderful relationship with the perfect person, to have the physique that you want to have. Allow these things to happen and change your perception of these things, that this is happening, that way I can get to here. And then when you do that, your inner talking changes. Then you shift worlds, and then you are attracting the things that you want to come into your life. And sometimes this can happen so quickly. Very, very quickly, these things can happen. And there's one other thing I wanted to mention is there are so many different techniques out there, so many different exercises. While you are performing all these different exercises, trying to find the best one for you, just remember that you created this hologram, this virtual reality that you're living in right now, to be happy, to live in the moment, for the appeasement of loneliness, to be happy, to enjoy your life. And this in itself will create great things to come into your life by not taking things so serious, by not being overwhelmed by all of these things and fighting yourself. I got to do this, I got to do that. Just enjoy your life, be present in the moment, and just be happy. And this in itself will change your inner dialogue, will change your inner talking if you can do this one thing. All right, now I'm going to give you the exercise whether you can determine whether you are now living in the world where your manifestation is coming. And there's an exercise that you can do. You can meditate. You can meditate in a neutral way. Just observe your inner talking, because that is the reason your world is the way that it is right now. And that's what's creating your world. So observe. Just observe, don't fight it. Just go into your meditation and observe your inner talking, your inner thoughts. Just observe them and watch where they're going. Are they negative? Are they positive? Are they confirming the change that you're looking for in your life? Are they matching up with your wish fulfilled, with your imagination? Are they matching your imagination? Like, for example, if you have been falling asleep or imagining and trying to create bigger bank balances, and you go into this meditation and you're trying to confirm that, whether that's coming or not, you notice that your mind, your thoughts, your inner talking are leading that way. Like they are talking about things that are leading you in that position that actually imply that you already have that. Like they're going after that. They're like, okay, so, and your mind is like, I'm going to buy this, or I'm going to buy that, or I'm going to take this person out, or I'm going to do this. Like it's pushing you ahead of the event. Like when you impress the subconscious mind, your thoughts, your inner talking is going to be thinking past that now. It's not going to be thinking in lack anymore. It's going to be thinking that you already have the bank balances and what you're going to do after that. Your mind will automatically, your inner talking will automatically be pointed at things that are going to come after that. Like, I'm going to buy this new car, or I'm going to buy this new house, or I'm going to invest in this. No longer with no money, it's now going to be thinking that it has all this money. So that's what you can do. You can observe your inner talking in meditation now, and you will know whether your manifestation is coming. And this is a very, very good way to determine whether you have impressed the subconscious mind and you have changed your inner talking, because now you've changed your inner talking to having bigger bank balances. And now that that's already happened, your mind will automatically be thinking of things to do with that money. And now what are we going to do with that money? Because now we already have it. So your inner talking is going to be past that. You're going to be pushed ahead of that now. And you'll notice that your mind, your inner talking now is now shifting you into a new world. And that's how this works, guys. And if you're looking to discuss this further, you can join Neville Book. The link is in the description below. That is the Neville Goddard community that you can join right now. And if you're looking for accountability coaching, one-on-one coaching with me, that link is also in the description below. All right, that is the end of this video, guys. I love you guys very much. And don't forget to give me one thing you guys are grateful for in the comment box below. And remember, be careful of those scammers in the comments. If somebody is contacting you and saying that they're me, that is not me. I don't use WhatsApp. I don't use Telegram. So do not jump on that, guys. That is not me. All right, I love you guys, and I will see you guys in the next video.